Satellites are celestial bodies in the space that orbits around the Earth and other planets. The Earth also has its own satellite, and it is a natural satellite. We are talking about the Moon. The Moon orbits around the Earth. It is not a part of the Earth, but it is present at a distance from the Earth. The cities also show a similar phenomena. The cities too have their own satellites. Such satellites are known as satellite cities. So, satellite cities are small or medium-sized cities. Now, they are away from the main city or parent city, and we can easily travel from the satellite city to the main city by a bus or any other normal transport. So, satellite cities are not a part of any large city, but it is just another small city located at a certain distance from the main city. Now, these satellite cities also have independent administration and economy. So, satellite cities are small and medium-sized cities with independent administration and economy, and they are generally located near the parent city or the larger city. So, here is an image that helps us understand how and where satellite cities are present. Say, for example, this is a large city. Now, around the large city, there could be many satellite cities. These satellite cities are at a certain distance and could be easily traveled to through a highway or through other well-connected roads and railways. So, here we understood that satellite cities are small and medium-sized cities with independent administration and economy, and they are located at a certain distance from a larger city. Now, a very good example of the satellite city is Navi Mumbai. So, we know that Mumbai is one of the most developed cities of India. A satellite city of Mumbai is Navi Mumbai. So, a very good example of a satellite city is Navi Mumbai. Now, as we learned earlier, satellite cities are at a certain distance from the main city, and they are an independent administration and economy. Similarly, even Navi Mumbai is at a certain distance from Mumbai and has its own administration and economy. Now, how exactly can we distinguish between a satellite city and the main city? So, geographically, the satellite cities have a clear distinction from the main city. They are separated from the main city by any geographical feature like a land formation, like a mountain, or a river or a valley. It can also be separated by a rural settlement. So, a rural settlement between the main city and the satellite city could be acting as a separating path. So, geographically, there is a clear distinction between the satellite city and the main city, and they may be separated by a stretch of farmland, a lake, a river, or also by a rural settlement. Now, if we take example of Mumbai and Navi Mumbai being the satellite city of Mumbai is separated by a narrow stretch of water, that is the Thane Creek. So, the narrow stretch of water known as Thane Creek is what separates the satellite city of Mumbai. Now, the question arises, why exactly do we need such satellite cities? What is the need for the establishment of satellite cities? A very simple and logical answer to this question is that satellite cities are usually established and built for the purpose of maintaining a balance between the population and resources of the main city. So, satellite cities are usually seen for cities which are highly developed and have a high dense population. So, because of which there is immense pressure on the existing resources. Now, only to provide affordable housing and to maintain a balance between the high dense population and the resources is when satellite cities come into existence. So, the main aim of developing these satellite cities is to provide affordable housing and to maintain a balance between population and resources. So satellite cities do the work of lessening the burden on the main city. They have an independent administration and economy, so they are well-planned cities. They provide enough amenities to all its people and also help in reducing the pressure on resources of the main city. Now, as I mentioned earlier, satellite cities are not too far from the main city. It is often seen that people travel on a regular basis from the satellite city to the main city for work, for education, and for other purposes. But that doesn't mean that satellite cities are devoid of schools, offices, etc. They are connected to the main city with excellent transport system, which may include highways, as I mentioned earlier, and well-connected railway system. So here are two images that shows us how satellite cities are connected to the main city through excellent transport system so that people could easily travel on a regular basis without hampering their work life. So, as I just mentioned, that satellite cities are not devoid of schools, offices, and basic amenities. They are a well-planned city that has residential buildings, schools, offices, banks, and shops. So they are just a small and medium-sized cities and they are well planned. Other than that, it has its own water supply, power supply, and waste management system. Since they have their own administration and economy, so they are well efficient to provide all these basic amenities to the population that resides there. However, satellite cities have few or no factories. So these were certain characteristics of a satellite city. Now, satellite cities, besides reducing the pressure and maintaining a balance between the resources and population, sometimes also play a very important role for the economic development of the main city. A very good example of the same is Gurugram. So Gurugram, more commonly known as Gurgaon, is a major satellite city of New Delhi. So if we take a look at the map of India, we see that Gurugram is not too far from New Delhi, which is a satellite city of the same, and it is one of the major IT hubs of India. So the satellite city here is not only the third financial capital after Mumbai and Chennai, but it is also one of the major IT hubs. So you see that satellite cities play a very important role and hold a significant position as a city. Another example of the satellite city is right here. It too is a satellite city of New Delhi and it is Noida. So Noida and Gurugram are two important satellite cities of New Delhi. Another good example of satellite city in India is New Town. New Town is the satellite city of Kolkata. Kolkata is the capital city of West Bengal, which is a state in India. Now this New Town is a satellite city of Kolkata and it is not too far from the main city. It has well constructed roads, offices, buildings, and has a beautiful appearance. It plays a very important role for the people living away from the main city as it is connected to the main city through well connected network system. So what we just saw was a beautiful satellite city of Kolkata. Kolkata is the capital of West Bengal, as I mentioned. Here are two images that shows how well planned and well developed the satellite city of Kolkata is. It is efficient in its own because it has school, residential buildings, office, and also it provides enough water supply, power supply, and waste management facilities to the people residing here. Two other good examples of satellite city is the high-tech city of Hyderabad and Yelahanka of Bengaluru. The high-tech city of Hyderabad consists of various office parks and is well served with Indian, Italian, and BBQ cuisine. It also has a number of food outlets on the high-tech main road. So you see, it is one of the most developing regions of Hyderabad and is one of the major IT hubs of the entire country. On the other hand, we also have Yelahanka. Yelahanka previously was known as a dormant region of Bengaluru. It is present on the outskirts of Bengaluru. But however, over the years, it has become one of the rapidly developing cities of Bengaluru and is a major satellite city of the same. Besides all these important satellite cities in India, some of the largest cities of the world also have significant satellite cities, be it London, New York, or Australia. So in London, a very important satellite city is Crawley. In New York, we have New Haven, and in Australia, we have Queensland. So all of these have independent administration and economy, and they are a part of some of the largest cities of the world. They are highly developed and play a significant role in the development of the entire region. They provide enough amenities and resources to the people residing there and provide enough opportunities to the young spirited minds residing there. So that was all about satellite cities. Isn't that interesting? Well, we also have some other interesting things to know about cities and how urbanization has played a very important role in today's global time. Now, what do you think? Are you smarter in using smartphones, in ordering food online? And we often do that quickly more than our grandparents because they are not used to the modern technologies, and even if they are not as fast and quick as we are. So we are used to these modern technologies and how the smartphones, smart TVs, and the online facilities have improved our lives. So can you imagine an entire city being called a smart city, which is dependent highly on technologies and machines and less on manual work? Yes, we do have smart cities and it is present all across the globe. Now, what exactly are smart cities and how did they come into existence? Let's have a look at what a smart city looks like. A smart city is making cities livable and more alive. The core of smart cities are well-connected roads. Well-connected roads play a very important role here. Street lights can have sensors which can track and send information. Say that Mark has to go to work at 7 a.m. in the morning. So as he passes by the street lights, it will automatically switch on. The standby street lights will switch on and that will cut down on resources. Now Eva wants to go out for an appointment. Now she doesn't have to look for a parking spot for hours. She can easily do that and she can save her time. Now on the other hand, say like Tom is using an electric car. Now he doesn't have to look for a charging station here and there. He can simply find one and charge his car. Just like that, there are many other facilities present in a smart city. Now say the waste management companies will easily know when the dustbins are full and they can come and do away with the waste. So here, time and resources are saved. On the other hand, there are various sensors that can help us understand air pollution, noise pollution, and rising sea levels that can prevent floods. We also have other facilities in the smart cities that may include different places and different meters that can help us understand a rough image of how much the bill is on the electric and water meters. The traffic jams could also be regulated by the traffic lights, which can adjust automatically. And also, accidents at certain places can send immediate notification to the nearby meteorological stations that can come for help and accidents could be done away with. So a smart city is what can help us move towards a sustainable urbanization. So that is how amazing a smart city could be, and it exists across the world. So a smart city simply uses information and communication technology to efficiently utilize resources. So the existing resources could be utilized efficiently with the use of information and communication technology. A smart city completely relies on computerized system where resources could be monitored and records could be kept. Now this can help us cut down on a lot of wastage of energy resources and power supplies and can help us preserve and conserve them. We can switch to renewable energy resources as soon as possible. And since everything is computerized, there is no chance of any record getting lost. So the name Smart City is quite justified as it is completely relying on information and communication technology. So you see how important a role IT sector plays with regards to a smart city. So we can simply say that smart cities are a next stage of modern urbanization. It will help in the overall economic development, which will not only benefit the people living in such smart cities, but also the business houses and the government. So before we proceed with our lesson, could you help me answer this question? What does a smart city use to fully utilize its resources? Is it waste management techniques, green space construction, or information and communication technology? The correct answer is information and communication technology. So a smart city uses information and communication technology to fully utilize its resources. An excellent example of a smart city is Singapore. Singapore is not just a beautiful city, but is also highly dependent on information and communication technology, and thus is technologically very advanced. It is one of the major IT hubs, providing opportunities to young minds and spirits to go on with their career and do good with their life. The standard of living here is very high, and people have enough opportunities to raise their standard of living further and have a dignified life. So you must visit Singapore for not only its beauty, but also its technological advancement. Globally, some other cities besides Singapore that could be counted as smart cities are Barcelona, Madrid, Amsterdam, Stockholm, Vienna, and Dublin. So these are some major smart cities of the world. The Smart City Mission was a revolutionary project initiated by the Government of India in 2015, where they aimed at developing 100 smart cities. Now, right after the mission was launched in 2015, by 2016, Government of India was able to point out top 20 smart cities of India. And these included Bhubaneswar, Pune, Jaipur, Surat, Kochi, Ahmedabad, Jabalpur, and many more. Bhubaneswar even today tops the list as the smart city of India. So even developing countries like India are doing well in the IT sector and are developing as and more smart cities as possible. Now, the more smart cities we have, the more closer we are towards a sustainable urbanization. Now, before we move on to understand sustainable urbanization, let us consider how smart cities are playing a very important role here. A zero carbon city is the main challenge of a smart city. Now, to achieve a zero carbon city, the existing cities have to soon switch to renewable energy resources as the only source of energy for all the works that are carried out in any city. So a dream to achieve the zero carbon city, that is, the city runs entirely on renewable energy resources, which will lower the greenhouse emission, and it is one of the most challenging tasks of a smart city. So before a smart city could move on towards a zero carbon city, we need to take smaller steps to cut down on the greenhouse emission by using less of petroleum-based fuels and switching soon towards electric cars and cleaner forms of energy. Now let us understand what sustainable urbanization refers to. Now, the modern urbanization has provided us with a lot of facilities and leisure. But it is our time where we could play a small role and move towards a sustainable urbanization. Sustainable urbanization is what refers to a long-term urbanization where the energy resources could be preserved as much as possible, so there's a lot left for the future generation. Now, in order to move towards sustainable urbanization, there are certain things that we need to keep in mind, or the cities rather need to keep in mind. The first step could be promoting urban agriculture. Now we know that it is generally the rural settlements, that is villages and remote areas, that are highly dependent on and are focused on agro-based activities. So the agricultural products are what we generally receive or get from the rural areas. So if we promote urban agriculture, that is, if we preserve agricultural land in urban areas, then we can cut down on the CO2 emission that happens due to the transport of agricultural products from rural areas to urban areas. So cutting down on the transport of these agricultural products from the rural areas can help us cut down the CO2 emission. And this can be done by preserving agricultural land in urban areas. Now on doing that, we also are benefiting and improving the air quality here. By preserving agricultural land, we are not cutting down trees. We are letting open fields and grasses be there, which is not only helping us get a cleaner air, but it is also providing us with fresh foods. Now we know that agricultural products that come from far off remote areas and rural areas take a very long time to come here. So the time taken in this transport of these agricultural products can sometimes lead to hampering or damaging of these agricultural products. So if we grow food and sell fresh food in our own city, then it will promote local chain system and it will also keep us healthier. So promoting urban culture can be done by preserving agricultural lands and by producing and selling more fresh foods within the city. Another effective method to move towards sustainable urbanization is encouraging healthy diets. Now it is estimated that 70% of the people living in urban area consume global supply and most of it goes to waste. This is because they are highly dependent on food that is easily available and they are highly processed and are energy efficient. This is generally more seen in developing countries or in middle class working age people. So to cut down on that, what could be done is that the food operators, that are people with restaurants and food business, could take up a subsidy scheme. Now what would this subsidy scheme be? This would help us to avoid situations of undernutrition. The food operators can include healthier ingredients in their food. They can cut down on oils that have saturated fat content, and by that they could give us healthier options on the menu. So the people who are working out of their home and they're completely dependent on the food available outside, they have no choice but to take in and consume these healthy foods available at different food outlets. So a subsidy scheme taken up by the food operators could be a very smart method of a healthier city. A very good example of the same is Singapore. So Singapore took up healthier dining program in 2014, where they assessed the food operators to take up the subsidy scheme, and soon it could see that there are less people moving towards obesity and related problems. Now let us move on to some other methods of sustainable urbanization. Now this includes reducing and managing food wastage. So as I mentioned, that most of the people are dependent on the global food supply, and a lot of food is wasted. Now this generally happens because of lack of food planning, improper food packaging and inefficient storage. So by proper food planning, packaging, storage and cultural practices, a lot of food could be saved and wastage of food could be reduced. Now the food could also be recycled or reused by the redistribution. Now food redistribution is an effective method through which the leftover food or food that is not of our use could be redistributed to people who are in need or people who lack enough resources to consume healthy diets. So food redistribution through charities and food banks are a very effective method that could help people not waste food and reduce food wastage. Lastly, another important method towards sustainable urbanization is boosting green space. The simplest and the best method to cut down on global warming and to reduce problems of climate change is to plant trees wherever possible, or simply cut down on our activities of deforestation. So, boosting green spaces could be good for a healthier environment. And this could be done by constructing parks and leaving open fields untouched to improve the air quality and the surrounding environment. Now, this can also be helpful in mitigating urban temperature, and it will also encourage physical activity. So be it for school students or be it for the aged people, having parks outside their home in every 500 meters distance can encourage them with physical activity, and it can also help the environment mitigate urban temperatures. So in this lesson, we were able to understand the meaning and significance of satellite cities and smart cities. We understood how these play an important role for the overall economic development of the nation and thus lead us towards a healthier and smarter generation. So with little steps, let us all move towards modern urbanization, and not only modern urbanization but a sustainable modern urbanization. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock test. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.